Colin Thompson joining us on site. Again, hello, Colin. How are you?
Doing wonderful. How are you?
This song resonates, right? I mean, this, these lyrics kind of. I mean, I think his Boulevard of Broken Dreams might have had something to do with substance abuse, not NFL football. But say la vie, potato, 220, 221, whatever it takes. What we were talking about going to break there, though, about this week specifically, you played football, college football at Temple, right? Yep. You were in NFL camps.
Yep.
You've played professional football.
Yes.
You know the highs and the lows, right? What is this week like for these guys? And how true is that Andrew Brandt tweet about the reality is guys are suiting up for this fourth preseason game that have no chance?
Yeah, you're not going to make it, or where you stand really. Like, am I a practice squad guy? I'm on the fringe with that. I think I was on the fringe with that last year with the Bears, where okay, listen, they have a bunch of tight ends, but I could be a practice squad fit for them. And, yeah, this time last year was the last NFL game I played in. Preseason game number 5 for the Bears because we played in the Hall of Fame game. But it's a rough week, but it's an exciting week because you get to play the entire game. You're told, hey, you're playing all 4 quarters.
Yeah.
Here's your responsibilities. We only have X amount of guys. Maybe 45 guys are actually playing in the game. So I'm getting 100 snaps. You prepare yourself for that mentally, physically, eating, diet, because some games you play 1 snap. And you're like, wow, I just was like a recovery day for me. But
right. Day off.
It's a tough week, yeah. And then I've been a part of the cut and being signed to the practice squad. I've been a part of the cut and going nowhere. So, this time last year I got cut by the Bears, stayed overnight for about 24 hours, waited for the practice squads to assemble. They assemble at noon the following day, noon Eastern time, and I didn't get signed. And I drove straight through from Chicago to here, just happy and sad and a roller coaster of emotions. I drove 13 hours straight through from Chicago right to K-May this time last year. And
just Green Day on repeat.
Just Green Day on repeat.
Shuffle, repeat. Play the song again.
So I'm going to jump in just real quick.
Go right ahead.
So that tweet, all these guys are playing for nothing. They're going to play Thursday and be cut Friday, this and that. And I say a little bit of BS because,
yes.
You and I talked about this last week, and we've talked about this before, on air, off air. No, not so fast, my friend. You need tape. You've
yes.
said this. You need as much NFL tape as possible for all the other scouting departments, coaches, front offices to possibly get a hold of it. And, yeah, this could be it for player X in a Bears uniform, but it doesn't mean that's it for his career. The Colts could pick him up.
Yep.
The Jets could pick him up. Whatever. You name the team. So talk about just that aspect of, yeah, I'm in camp with this team, but it doesn't mean that, I'm not going to make it.
Every coach I've been around in the NFL starts the first meeting of training camp that we bring you. You're here for a reason. You're with Chicago Bear. You're a New York Giant. You're a Philadelphia Eagle. You're with whomever. But there's only 53 guys that are going to make this team, plus a practice squad. Say 63, a couple injured reserve guys. So just say 70 guys that are going to make this team. So roughly 25 to 30 to 40 with the cuts throughout training camp are going to make this team.
Yeah.
But we brought you in here for a reason because we think you can make this team. So do your best to make it. But if not, leave it all out there because everybody else is watching. That NFL film follows you throughout your whole entire career. I've been in workouts before with NFL teams, and they pull up your film, and they say, what happened here? What'd you do here? What'd you see? Why'd you do this in this game and X, Y, and Z? And you're like, got to answer the questions honestly. So the film follows you forever, and it's invaluable time for you to play. My last NFL game to this point that I'm still pursuing that dream and that goal, but it's extremely interesting and it's extremely tough, a tough pill to swallow as a player and for the coaches too. This is something that they even Doug Peterson was a player. He's been cut. Matt Nagy was a player. He cut me in Chicago. Ryan Pace, he was a player. He cut me in Chicago. So these guys they've been cut as well, and it's an ugly tradition, I guess you could say, that happens every year.
Right. And talking about guys like you, I put that in air quotes, meaning guys that
on the fringe.
On the fringe players, trying to make a name for yourself as bottom guy, depth chart, special team guy, whatever it may be, just working your way to an NFL roster. How do you, and we talked about this last week, but I want you to get a little bit more in depth with it. How do you prioritize what teams are looking for out of you? Meaning, Colin Thompson, how much do they put into, if you're making a pie chart, to your tape in the NFL, to just networking? Meaning that one coach calls another coach, one front office calls another one, college success, practice success, What's the most important things for you? Because there's only so much tape. You only played in so many preseason games. There's only so many practices you've had. Like, what's the most important out of those lists?
I mean, it's a little bit of everything, right? Just to kind of answer the question, up front. But
sure.
To me, there's less conversation between coaches and other front offices and vice versa, the other front office. I don't think it's not as happy-go-lucky as that sounds.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, it's very cut and dry. You're cut, they move forward. They're worried about their next guys and evaluating. But again, like I said, that film lasts with you forever. So there's a group of tight ends that a team will bring in if there's a tight end that's hurt, right? Like the Eagles, obviously, I don't think they're going to keep Rodgers, it looks like, because I don't think they've had a tight end workout, or there'd be 6-7 guys in there working out to see.
Right.
And they may just bring you group of DBs in, even though they're not trying.
Alex Ellis came in, but he came in late.
He came in like a couple of weeks
right,
ago.
And that was one of those like, all right, Rodgers may or may not be here. Let's bring this guy in and take a look. And when you try to pin guys down like Mike Groh, they specifically asked Mike Groh today, when a guy's a late arrival like Alex Ellis, how does that play into the evaluation process? And what's Groh gonna say? Like, you try to evaluate. He's gonna give the vanilla answer. You're not gonna tell what they really think.
I know Alex personally. He's a tough kid. He plays hard. Played at Tennessee. We were in New York Giants minicamp together in May.
Wow.
So I've been in his shoes. I've been in the same situation. It's extremely tough. You have to make an imprint on an organization within 2 to 3 weeks. You're coming in decent shape, but not in game shape. It's very hard to train for that. But again, it's training camp's the toughest time of the year in football for the guys at the bottom of the roster. You are grinding. It is a tough decision for all people, and for a guy like Alex, you got to do everything right. Now, he could be a practice squad candidate for them. He's been on several different teams, Kansas City, Jacksonville. He's bounced around. He could be a practice squad guy for the Eagles, no doubt about it. I don't think Will Ty's eligible for a practice squad because he's a vested veteran, meaning he played 3 games minimum for 3 straight years. So he won't be eligible. So probably you'll have 4 tight ends and a practice squad guy, which will be Perkins. It will be who just got hurt, Rodgers, and then Goddard and Ertz.
Yeah, I mean, then there's your 4 tight ends. There's only so many spots to go around. So you're talking about this time of year. We've got Colin Thompson with us. Follow him on Twitter, right, at Colin Thompson to you. That is your Twitter handle, I believe.
Yes, sir.
He's got a great wealth of football knowledge for both college and the pros. Like he said, this time last year, he was unfortunately getting the news, you will not be a Chicago Bear, right? But that doesn't mean his football dream is over, and he certainly, we're thrilled to have him come here and join us at the Barefoot Bar in Cape May at the Marquis de Lafayette. I want to ask you this, just sort of pivot away from edge of the roster to established NFL star says, that's it. I've been hit too much. I'm hurt too much. I'm sick of rehab. Where were you when that news came down, and what was your initial reaction to Andrew Luck saying that's it, he's retiring?
I was with some friends having some adult beverages.
Yeah, me too.
Me too.
Looked up on the screen, and I thought I read it wrong, or I kind of flashed quickly, and I caught the back end of it, so I waited for the
ticker to go around again.
Ticker to go back around again on ESPN, watching the Gator football game, and how about the ratings on that? Through the roof, right? That was crazy. I think I read here, Miami, Florida averages 5.9 million viewers. ESPN's best start on record peaked at 7.4 million viewers. I heard it was higher than any Eastern Conference NBA
I love that.
Finals.
Now, are you like me?
Year.
Like you're okay with Manny Diaz in Miami losing because he was only in Temple for a cup of coffee and he told Temple, "To heck with you, I'm going to Miami." So, to heck with him. You spurned my Owls. Get out of here.
No. I don't really feel that way.
I absolutely feel that way.
Like
Manny Diaz, get out of here.
I like it, Pete. No, I like the fire. I don't have hard feelings for Manny. I actually got to meet him a couple times. I did a recruiting day show with him. He's a super nice guy. I mean, his dad was the mayor of Miami. I mean, anything the guy would want down there, he gets. And at Temple, there's a ceiling of what you can get as an NFL head coach: recruiting budget, travel, place for your family to live. I mean, the guy grew up in Miami.
All right, maybe I don't really.
Yeah,
I knew. I was waiting.
It was an easier.
I was waiting for you to come.
But
around.
no, the whole Luck situation.
Luck, yes.
The whole Luck situation. I mean, I'm sure we've all seen what Doug Gottlieb tweeted. That drove me up a wall. I don't.
What did he tweet?
Oh, my gosh. This is where Troy Aikman came on top of it.
Ripped them.
Right. I mean, they work for the same team. That'd be like you're playing for Temple and somebody on you say one thing and somebody on your same team says something else. Like,
for Doug's integrity, I hope he just did it just to get clickbait, and that's sickening.
What I hope too. But that's even worse, dude.
I know. Oh no, it's even worse. I'm not condoning that, but I've read it and I couldn't believe it. I mean, here's another thing too. There's too much drama in the preseason for them to shorten it. So I don't know what they're going to do, the NFL-wise, because there's been so much drama, and the NFL's been talked about. Not drama, but Cam Newton's hurt, Andrew Luck retires. There's been so many talking points. It feels like the preseason's been it's been huge. There's been also talking points about shortening it, making it longer, more practices.
But has there been more talking points, Colin, or has it just been? It's amazing how much the media controls the narrative nowadays, more than the past, obviously, with social media and everything. But is it just because there's so much talk nationally on social media and in the media that now every story that does come up, the microscope's on it?
Yeah, no, I think so. I guess, the Andrew Luck story would be big no matter what. The Cam Newton story would be big no matter what. The Josh Gordon story to New England would be big no matter what. The helmet thing would be huge. So I just think there's a lot. Hard Knocks adds to it. Yeah. I think it will be a shortened season. But what do you guys think about the booing? I mean, I've heard the take already on it, and what you guys have been saying. But if you want to reiterate it, just for conversation's sake.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's a great question.
Well, you didn't answer your own question. You didn't tell us would Eagles fans have booed Carson Wentz?
Yes.
And we all think yes.
Immediately.
100%.
Here's the thing. You don't want to take away the passion for the fans because that's what pays your bills. That's what pays our bills as media members, right? Yeah. I mean, this is what it all feeds off the fans. It's fans for fanatics. So I don't have it. I have an issue with the booing, but I don't have an issue with the reactionary measure of it. Everyone found it on their phone. Sure, yes. I saw Joe from the Fudge Kitchen up here. He said, "Tell Pete." I said hello.
Joe is the man. Yes, he's always very kind to me. He and his brother. Yep, I see him out there quite a bit. Good job by you. See, you're learning.
Lay Silhouettes and Con Company.
Open microphone, and Colin Thompson says, "I'm getting all my plugs in." Smart by him. Look, the one thing Colin wouldn't do is ever get into a fight on the air during Temple football radio broadcast with Paul Palmer. He's not going to argue with his broadcast team member, and yet that's what's happening with this Andrew Luck situation. Doug Gottlieb from Fox Sports Radio said it's the most millennial thing ever. Oh. And then Troy Aikman came back and said, that's total bull bleep, Doug. What qualifies you to decide how someone should live their life? So you're now the authority on what motivates Andrew Luck, and if his decisions don't fit into what you think is best for him, then you rip him? Guess that keeps you employed on FS1. Nice. Whoa! Troy Aikman doesn't curse usually, number one. He doesn't curse on Twitter, number two. And this is they're on the same team and they're beating each other up.
I just want to say real quick before Colin, because I can't wait to hear Colin's thoughts, but it's not like Doug Gottlieb's rap sheet is necessarily clean either, by the way.
He's getting ripped for that, too.
Yeah, come on, dude. You got some skeletons in your closet. Be careful what you put out there.
Before we dive into the Andrew Luck thing, the whole millennial conversation, listen, get off the soapbox because the people that are coming at millennials are the people that raised them. Not to get into this whole topic, but I hate it as, you're a millennial. Well, yeah, I am. I wasn't raised like one. Doesn't make me a millennial. To me, it's a millennial thing to.
Why is it a negative?
What are you talking about?
Why is it
it's
a
just
negative?
When I was born.
Right.
People that use it to describe the type of person. And you're saying Andrew Luck's a millennial? This guy is a lion.
It's become a negative, Colin.
It is.
Why
it's
is
horrible.
it a negative?
But that group of people who say millennials are the ones who raised the kids to be millennials. So that's right. It's contradictory. Another thing with the Andrew Luck thing. This guy is a lion. I mean, one of the most highly touted college football players ever. He was a sure thing. He came in and was a sure thing. He took really not so good Colts teams, right? A couple stars and really a rest. I don't want to say a scrap heap because I respect the players, but compared to other teams,
it is what it is.
They weren't one of the most talented teams in the NFL. No. Always in the bottom third of the league, and you have Andrew Luck and a couple receivers and a couple pass rushers and all this, and an older Bob Sanders. I think he was still around, and they were one of the best teams in the AFC. 10-win seasons. I think his first 3 years he had 3 straight 10-win seasons. So, to me, to come at Andrew Luck about leaving the game, the guy sacrificed his body. He's peeing blood. He's a warrior. He's a warrior quarterback.
Somebody should have leaked it, though.
That's the main problem.
Right. Somebody in the Colts needs to shut their mouth. That's all.
That was the main issue,
If they wanted to handle it the next day, look, the Eagles don't let news come out, right? The Patriots, nothing ever comes out about the Patriots, right?
Unless you're Patrick Chung.
Loose lips sink ships.